Hi, my name is Jeff, and welcome back to my workshop. We're going to continue working on our city scene by weathering the Standard Electric building. I'm going to start with the rooftop sign. I've just added some light rust color. This is a raw sienna, and I'm just dabbing a lot of it off of the sponge that I'm using, and I'm just going to dab it lightly around the edges of the signs, a little bit on the sign itself, mainly the edges and the supports, to give a light rust, like a new rust. And then we'll do the same thing with a dark brown. In this case, I'm going to use Acrylico Vallejo's acrylic hobby paint leather, which is a nice dark brown, gives a nice dark rust look to it. Once I finish that and it has had a chance to dry, I'll give the sign a coat of clear matte varnish to just kind of dull everything up and seal the paints. And then towards the end of the video, we will add some pan pastel weathering to fade the sign and blend the colors together. So with the sign done, you can see it rusted up nicely, and I've got the clear matte varnish on. We'll set this aside and work on the structure itself. The first step will be to again use a brick red that again we're going to dry brush with a sponge and just kind of place it on the building to add variety to the brick color that's already on here. And I apologize, I already did the front of this building, including the front sign where it added some color to it. Unfortunately, I didn't have the camera on, so I apologize for that, but you can see I've got it done here. I'm just going to touch up, add a little more lightly in a few spots. And then I'm going to do the same thing using the raw sienna on the sign to add some rust to it, get it nice and rusty. This sign's been up for a long time. And then, just as we did on the billboard sign, we'll add some dark brown paint. In this case, again, the leather just add some rust to it, but I'm also going to add some of the rust to the mechanical equipment on the side of the building and the vent on the top. Just to give this the look of something that's been out in the weather for a long time. Working around to get all the sides. On here. This is one of those things that would have been easier to do prior to assembly, but since I got it, nope, that's still attached. So with that first coat of weathering done, next step is going to be to add an India ink wash over the model, just to kind of tie everything together and help it blend and merge in together, and darken some of the highlights and help create shadows, and really help the mortar lines and the simulated brick pop on here. This will also add some dirt and grime to the sign as well. And I'm going to repeat the process for the other four sides. I always like to work from the top down. And then just along the bottom edge, because that's where the dirt and grime would build up the most. So with the sides done, I'm doing the same thing with the roof, using the Indian gouache to just kind of bring out details and kind of blend everything together with a dirty look. I'm working from the peak of the roof down the sides, and also trying to get the skylight parts. I'm going to do both sides of the roof and then set this aside to dry. Giving things time to dry is important. One of the things with model building, to get the best results, you just need patience. So with this done, we'll flip it around and get the other side. And also along the ridge caps of the walls. Okay, so that's finished up. We'll set this around. When we come back, we'll start adding pan pastel weathering to create a fade effect and to help bring out some details on the brick and the roof a little further. And thanks to the magic of editing, with this finished, we can come back right now. Or now. So I'm using two different pan pastel colors on this structure. I've got a neutral gray extra dark, and the first one I'm going to use is a raw sienna shade, which is a very light, almost an off-white color. And I'm just going to brush most of it off of the brush, the sponge applicator, and put it onto the sign. As you can see, it just fades it. I'm going to do the same thing on the sign on the building to just fade the lettering a bit, and also just touch up the top of the brick to again blend things together and show some sun fading on here. We'll work our way around the building on this. We're going to get that mechanical box, which would have faded in the sun as well. And then with the sides done, we're going to use the neutral gray extra dark to fade the roof. And also the skylights. By the way, I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please make sure you give it a good thumbs up if you have, and also subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss my next video. I try and post videos on Monday and videos on Thursdays and shorts on Mondays. With the weathering done, I just need to glue the billboard sign in, so I'm using styrene cement. Just put a dab in each of the two holes that it mounts in, and then set the billboard in place. And here's the finished building. The only thing left I want to do is possibly add a gooseneck lamp above the door. I don't have that in stock at the moment, so that's on order and will be done in a future episode of this series. Probably when I do electronics for both of the two buildings I'm currently working on. So thank you for watching, and hope you've enjoyed this.